Hey guys, just a quick video today because I wanted to address a question that I've noticed has been popping up more and more frequently in the comment section, and it seems to have come from a little bit of confusion when it comes to cage minimums. Most of you are aware that different countries have different guidelines when it comes to a minimum size cage to keep a hamster in. Basically, the smallest possible cage you can have before it's considered cruel. So this question that I've been seeing a lot of goes along the lines of owners who have hamsters living in cages above their country's minimum size, but they're noticing that their hamsters are displaying signs that are typical of hamsters living in very small cages, usually signs of stress, bar chewing, walking in circles, excessively running on their wheel, lots of other behaviours that are often attributed to a hamster being in an environment that's too small. And the question is usually, why is my hamster behaving like this? It's not in a small cage, it's in a cage that's above my country's minimum size. So why is it acting this way? So this is where a lot of the confusion comes into play, because I think many people forget that those minimum size guidelines were put there by us, people, and they're different throughout the world depending on what that country feels is best for that hamster. Now, what we think is best for that hamster isn't necessarily what that hamster thinks is best for itself. Every hamster is an individual. They have their own personalities, and this is often overlooked by people. They have their own preferences, their own likes and dislikes, so it's only natural that some hamsters would prefer to have a lot of space, whereas others are content to live in whatever space they're provided with. As people, we invented those bare minimums in order to discourage people from keeping their pets in really tiny environments that would be cruel and that would offer the animal no quality of life. That's what the bare minimum's there for, is to say that you cannot have a cage any smaller than this. Now, how big the cage is, that's what depends on the individual hamster, and if your cage isn't big enough for that particular hamster, that's where problems can start to occur. Now, it's impossible to determine what each individual hamster is going to consider as a suitable sized home for itself, which is why we encourage people to get the biggest possible cage they can get their hands on. The bigger the cages, the less likely you are to come into problems like this, and naturally having smaller cages is going to raise the chance that you're going to get a hamster that isn't as content with its environment, and a hamster that's not happy in its environment is more likely to misbehave. This kind of misbehavior usually just stems from boredom. Your hamster is bored, it's trying to find something to do with itself. And the smaller space you have, the less you can put in there for your hamster to entertain itself. Now, hamsters might not be as intelligent as mice or rats, but they still do need a lot of stimulation. They need a lot of toys, they need a lot of space to move around and explore in, and this is why bigger cages are so important. The bigger the cages, the more space you have to put lots of exciting and enriching toys that are going to stimulate your hamster's brain and stop them from getting bored. They're also going to have lots of space to explore in and to dig burrows in and to do whatever they want to do. So the more space you have, the less likely your hamster is to get bored, and if they're not bored, they shouldn't be misbehaving. Now, you don't have to buy a colossal cage in order to do this. You just have to buy a cage that's big enough for you to put plenty of enriching toys in there and for your hamster to have plenty of space to explore and play around in. If you have a smaller cage and your hamster is showing these signs of boredom and misbehavior, I'm afraid the only real option is to upgrade them to a bigger cage. Either get them an extension that you can join onto the current cage, or a couple of extensions to give them more to do, or just upgrade them completely to something a bit bigger. If you already have a large cage with lots of toys in and your hamster is still showing signs of boredom and misbehaving, then this is probably just a high energy hamster that needs a little more stimulation and a little more effort from their owner in order to run out that energy. The best thing you can do for hamsters like this is to give them lots and lots of playtime. Get yourself a playpen, build one yourself if you want to. There is a tutorial on my channel that I will link below for how to build your own playpen, and just take your hamster out of their cage once or twice a day for half an hour to 40 minutes and just let them play around in this little space that they can run off their energy in. Or better yet, if you have a room that is hamster proofed, let them run around in the room for a little bit. It will be so beneficial to them. It will run out some of that extra energy, it will give them a new environment to explore, and it should really help in the long run. So there we go, guys. I hope I answered that question well. I know some of you were really confused with your hamster being in an above minimum cage but still acting like the cage was too small. If your hamster personally feels that cage is too small, listen to your hamster, do as it bids of you, and upgrade its cage. That's all it's asking for. That's all it wants. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a thumbs up. You can also share this video with your friends by clicking the share button down there. You can post it to your Facebook, to your Twitter, to your Tumblr, I think, I don't know. You can share it to lots of social networks. That will really, really help the channel out, because the more you share it, the more people see this channel, the more people subscribe, and the bigger our community gets. And of course, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!